Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode, it's time to get your fast food app of choice, because we're going to be looking at takeaways from the season so far. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in the virtual room filled with lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Chris, and I need to ask, what were your moments from that weekend?
My moment from the weekend was seeing so many. Well, okay, it's not maybe not necessarily the weekend, but over the last few days for sure, is watching all the Chelsea players do so well on the international break. It's been ages since we've seen lots of our players all go away to their countries and actually perform all at the same time. So I've quite enjoyed that.
How did they do? Because I won't lie. I know Mudryk scored, and
Mudryk did well.
That's about all I know, because I just watched the Denmark highlights and was like, but that was shit.
And Kunku did well, Vega did well, Neto did well.
Oh, yeah, he scored that goal, didn't he?
Caicedo did well. Lots of people who went out on their international break had good games for their countries, and that's good. That's probably indicative that things are going well at Chelsea as well. So,
oh yeah, for sure. Chris, highlights.
Oh, Joe, what? Mine was playing my game on Sunday. We lost, but it was one of those games that was actually really enjoyable to play in. So we was playing a team that was top of the league and had won every game. So it was always going to be really tough. And it was
pressure was off.
It was a really close game, and second half was really end to end. It was a really good game to play in. As a player, it was just an enjoyable game.
Well, that's good. That's good. So I've just burped. Then I'm very apologetic there. Not very good of me. For me, I want to take you on a little journey this Monday, because we all know we've been to Scotland, we've been to Perth, we've been to Parma, but both of my standout moments from the weekend involve, believe it or not, the humble water bottle. So first stop, Argentina. During a match between All Boys de Santa Rosa and Ferro Carril de General Pico, we saw something you don't see every day. A shot from an All Boys player was actually cleared off the line, but not by a defender, by a water bottle resting near the goalpost. The All Boys did go on to win 3-1, so it didn't really matter.
What was in that water bottle? Concrete?
Well, I am glad that we brought it up, because I have sent it into the group chat so you can get to see what I'm on about. And whilst they're doing that, listeners, you might think, I remember Ferro. They're the club that caught the attention when they did a Homer Simpson going back in the hedge inspired goalkeeper kit. It's pretty cool. Check it out. I don't know if you'll be able to get one legitly, because they were very expensive, because people bought them.
It's one of them. It's an assist from the post, isn't it? It deflects off the water bottle and hits the post. That is unfortunate.
It's moved it slightly so it hits the post. Yeah, I say.
That's a one in a million. If you tried to do that as a player, you probably couldn't hit it.
Probably not. Our second water bottle moment, we head over to Nottinghamshire, which it's not too far from where we're based. It's decent enough drive, but it's anyway. Northern Premier League side, Basford United, faced Bamber Bridge FC, and there was, during a stoppage, and I'm going to hit the enter button so the team can see it. During a stoppage in play, things took an unexpected turn when a Bamber Bridge coach threw a water bottle into the air, only for it to come down and strike defender Adam Dodd in the face, resulting in him having to be treated for that injury. It's absolute comedy gold, and I still couldn't believe it.
What was in that water bottle?
Oh, that is brilliant.
Do you know what the best part was? You might think, Mike, how did you find out about that? I was looking for the Argentina video clip of what I've just sent them in, of that water bottle hitting the post, and I just typed in water bottle incident because I wanted to know what the teams were, because I couldn't find out the teams, and that was the top one. This one with the water bottle hitting another guy in the face.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Bless him, he's just walking. He's not paying attention. Bang.
Those are the worst kind of injuries as well, when you don't know something's coming and it just blindsides you. It's horror. It's awful.
Oh, bless him. Did the coach go over? I don't think he did. Let me just check. No, he didn't. He just watches him go down and just goes, "Yeah, I'm carrying on." Yeah, he just walks away. He's like, "I don't know what's going wrong with him." Like he threw a bottle in his face.
Sounds like he bottled it.
That's why. That's why Football Manager's been delayed. Football Manager's been delayed till next year, just so they can throw water bottle at player.
Yeah, that's why they've done it.
Exactly. Right. News. Well, we had back-to-back episodes where we barely had any news whatsoever. And then after Thursday night, someone opened the floodgates of news. So there's a quick rundown of what happened since we last hit those airwaves. Zlatan said Chelsea couldn't sign him because he had more trophies. JT clapped back and said he would have been on the bench due to Drogba. Sonia Bonpastor won Manager of the Month for September. Enzo Maresca won Manager of the Month for September. Cole Palmer won Player of the Month for September. Reece James is meant to be, and he is, back in training. No one from Maresca's main squad will leave in January, including Mudryk. Thomas Tuchel is maybe not in talks over taking over the England job. And something I found very interesting was Reece James's agent, which this has been played down, apparently, but approached Barcelona and Benfica after the captain was told by physios that the warmer climate of Southern Europe could significantly aid his recovery and long-term fitness. And
well, Kante, didn't it?
You know, honestly, I've got to say, he needs a better agent because Benfica and Barcelona are the clubs. So you're trying to engineer a move for him to join a team that don't spend money and a team that can't spend money. The point.
Yeah.
It's a point.
Yeah.
The point.
Good point.
You know, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of nothing because, you know,
I think largely, though, a good week for news, I thought. You know, like mostly good news.
For a change.
Yeah, because I've got to bring up the fact the last time before this month of, September, that the Premier League and Women's Super League had managers of the month from the same club was October 2019. Emma Hayes and Frank Lampard.
Wow.
I know. I had to double check. I was like, Frank Lampard? No way he won that award. Oh my word. Yeah, we were good.
Hayes and Tuchel didn't win it at the same time. You would have thought they did.
No. Because there was that photo going around that Tuchel and Hayes together. It's like, no, that was the FIFA World. Yeah, I know there's an actual. Yeah. It's that trophy that I can never remember when they give them out at like the Champions League dinner or something. Well, yeah, once Manager of the Year.
Like, Club of the Year or something.
I'd take that award. I'm not going to complain if someone gives me Best Podcast Host of the Year award. I don't care if it's sponsored by FIFA.
Unfortunately, Chris is going to pip you to
it. Yeah. Oh, right. So we will head to Kingsmeadow Corner because Mike's clicking all the stuff right now so he can actually play this because he always forgets the clip. It's here somewhere. Good God, so professional.
Are we going to bail him out, Chris, or are we just going to let him drown?
No, we're good.
No, you see,
we're good.
This is why we can't charge for this podcast.
No, you can't. We're behind a paywall. Not worth it. Right, Chelsea took on Arsenal in a huge London derby at the Emirates. The left boot of Baltimore to deliver the game's first corner. It's right at Mushkin who got under it. Millie Bright's kept it alive and Ramirez has hooked it in. Oh, dream start for Chelsea. Nightmare for Arsenal. Chelsea strike first in the mid-London derby. Yeah, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2, London is blue, and now I want your thoughts too.
The only thing about London is Arsenal, isn't it?
Hey.
I thought I thought it was a good game. I thought Ramirez took a goal really inventedly. Wasn't it? It was Baltimore, wasn't it? Who scored the other one?
Yes.
From a low cross across. Really good for her to be in the right position to finish that. Been really impressed with her this season. She's really stood out. Not the best game though. Defensively a little suspect. Thought Lucy Bronze struggled. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal are a top team in the women's division. But we'll play tougher games this season than against them, and we won't be able to afford to be that defensively poor at times and still come away with the points. So great for Sonia, good for the first sort of big test, as it were, to win the game. It's important, especially away.
Yeah,
But definitely some things to improve on.
I mean, Sandy Baltimore involved in both goals. Corner for the Ramirez goal. Obviously, there was other touches, and obviously got her name on the score sheet later. And she's playing left back. That's not her position. And yet she's doing it there. So you think, wow. I wish that the goal celebration with Nushkin was class, though.
Oh, I really
yeah.
enjoyed that. Yeah, hanging in the Louvre.
I mean, that's Nushkin. I mean, I love her. I mean, her personality is magnetic. She just enjoys life, enjoys playing football, enjoys being at Chelsea. Oh, what an absolute icon. She'll be a Chelsea legend when she leaves or retires, whichever, whether it's at Chelsea or not. She will be a legend because she's just incredible. Chris, what were your thoughts on the game?
I thought we was excellent for 20 minutes, and then
Mhm.
and then really poor after that.
That is a good shout.
I honestly, the way we started the game, it looked like we was going to run away with it, like 3-4-0. But then after the second goal, it's like we just went, nah, can't be bothered now. We'll just sit in, protect this. I think this is the first time I would say that Bumper Stores got it tactically wrong. I thought second half, the idea of slowing the game down, trying to get control, but playing really slowly, and sitting back in and protecting the 2-0 didn't help us at all. At the moment, we don't look solid defensively. So to invite a lot of pressure when you're not that solid at the back is a risk. And I thought we invited too much pressure second half. And actually, from 2-0 up, I actually thought we was really lucky to get away with the win. Because I don't think second half we could have complained if Arsenal had scored the equaliser.
Do you think there was a tactical tweak from Jonas? I know a lot of Arsenal ladies fans were criticising him after the game, but I mean 2-1 against the I know it's at home, but against probably the best English team ever. In terms of the women's game, it's like it seems a bit harsh. No,
I actually thought it was probably their best performance of the season as well in terms of the way they actually played. So I don't really understand that, but I do think it was a lot down to we was undoing ourselves. I thought we was very poor on the ball. So I mean, Nuskin, like you was just saying, like she is great, but she was terrible in this game. The amount of time she gave the ball away.
The best thing she did was the celebration.
Yeah, it really was. I'm actually really surprised that she stayed on the pitch for the whole game because the amount of time she turned over possession was criminal. I thought Lucy Bronze really struggled up against Ford. The whole back line just doesn't look comfortable, and I don't really know why. Because I know there's 2 new players in it, but I mean, Bronze and Bright play together for England all the time, so you think they'd have some sort of relationship already. Anyway, so that you'd have thought she would have just slotted straight in, but the back line doesn't look like it's working together at the moment. I don't think the midfield's doing a great job in front of it either. I think we're really missing Cuthbert in there, energy, and the fact that she uses the ball so well.
It could have been
think the
easily
game. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, I think the game turned as well when Ramirez had to go off. I think we lost that outlet. I don't think the subs who come on was great.
Beaver Jones missed one late as well. Like we love Aggie and she's usually so clinical, but like that could have been the difference,
But I think that's probably as poor as we will play all season, and we still won, which is a massive positive.
Yeah,
because I don't think we can play much worse.
As well.
I mean, it could have been 2-2 or worse. I must say that Chris is spot on. I don't know how Arsenal didn't score a second because in fact, I'll flip it and put it as a positive. It's a testament to how good Hampton is in goal.
Yeah.
Because she made some top, look, of course I love Musovic, but I've got to give credit. Hampton
she should be England goalie, man. I'm telling you.
She's incredible. And look, on top of that, this is a new system. Our players are adapting to it. Look, Lauren James didn't seem a usual top class self. Maybe again, it's the new system.
Got the assist though, didn't she?
Exactly.
No, did enough.
I think the crowd got to. I think it's the first time I've ever seen her affected by a crowd.
You think she was rattled?
Yeah, I think she missed a chance, didn't she, quite early in the game, and it got massive cheers from the fans. And then it seemed like she was trying too hard to prove a point.
Yeah, got in her own head.
Yeah, like there was one where she'd done all the hard work and dipped in on her left foot, and we've seen her even on her weaker foot before put them in the top corner. And honestly, I think the ball's still travelling. She tried to hit it that hard. It doesn't scream composure for me when you've got a player who's trying to smash the shit out of everything.
Right. Velvet rope time. We take a trip to the
Oh,
Staff Drop Club. Maya Ramirez versus Arsenal by numbers, 63 minutes played, 1 goal, 1 chance created, 26 touches, 4 successful dribbles, most in the game, 2 passes into the final third, 5 recoveries, 7 ground duels won. And I saw the comments on social about it's not an overhead goal and just absolute vile, disgusting.
Oh yeah, just
shit
piss off.
I saw. Just fuck off. Honestly,
Do you know what really irritated me about that? Is one, Ramirez had otherwise a really good game, right?
Yeah.
And she scored, right? 7 ground duels for a striker is obscene. But then it really annoys me when people try and use like a goal like that as a stick to beat the women's game. Because like, did we all like not see what was it like 2 weeks ago when the Leeds keeper Meslier did like that? What he did.
I was about to say exactly the same thing.
And people don't go, oh, men's game, it's all like it's all mistakes and everything. Like it's like people just use it as an excuse to have a go at the women's game. And I get it. If the women's game isn't your bag, it's not your bag. But there's no reason to trash the whole game every time someone makes a mistake or something doesn't look as good as it might do in the men's game.
If you don't enjoy a sport, okay, but don't be a dickhead about that sport. Simple.
Whenever you see a goal in the women's game that probably shouldn't go in, you always get that online about, oh, the keepers are very good. And and they always act like you don't see shit goals in the men's game. Like I could show you just clips of Andre Onana and say that shouldn't go in.
Yeah, I could show
and
you
that's just one keeper.
I could show you 5 goals from the international break alone, I think, that probably shouldn't have got it. It's the nature of football.
There was an absolutely world-class advert from the France national team ahead of the Women's World Cup. Last year it was. I don't know if you remember, where they basically, I'm guessing it was like AI or something, and they put like the French players over the women's players scoring the goals. And it was kind of a point to prove like, what if we switch? These are good goals, aren't they? And they're like, people, and then they switch it and go, this was the women's team, and it was such a great advert. It's on there. It's VFX or something that they did. It was on The Athletic that they did an article on. It's really worth checking out. It's absolutely incredible. And at the end of the day, the women's game's going up. So if anyone wants to be a dickhead about it, it's like you're going to be a very quiet voice.
I mean, if you're using your prejudices, like, especially as a Chelsea fan, if you're going to use your prejudices to not get behind like the most successful English women's team of all time, like give that a wobble. Like it just it's
I spoke about it with that Rob on Twitter about we get comments on our direct messages, DMs on Twitter, like, oh, you shouldn't cover this. It's like, don't listen then. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're still going to cover it.
I mean, we have timestamps as well. And
you literally could skip it.
After you skip it.
But we're still going to talk about it because it's important and we champion that game and we champion the women's team. End of.
I don't understand why people, though, have to be so vocal with criticism. Like, I don't like the SPL, so I just don't watch it.
Exactly.
It's really that simple. If I don't like something, I won't watch it. I'm not going to go around slagging it
I don't watch it.
Exactly. I don't like rugby. I don't watch it. I don't bash it and go, oh, NFL's better. I don't. I'm just like, cool, whatever. You enjoy it.
Anyway,
go on.
Just one more thing on for Kingsmeadow Corner. It's kind of unrelated, but did you see? It was either in the press conference before or after the game, where someone asked Bonpastor if she had a cold. And she said, no, I've just been elbowed so much in the face in my professional career that my voice just sounds like this now. And everyone just had a laugh. Because she does have like sort of like quite a nasally voice. Like, definitely like her septum's been messed with as a player. Hard as nails. That's our manager.
I want to just end on this because I know defensively we look shaky, despite we've only conceded once in the WSL this season. However...
Overreaction, I think.
This Chelsea side is shaky because they missed the leadership and presence of Jess Carter.
No.
Really?
No.
I'm saying it because she played nearly every game.
No, because you've got Millie Bright in there still, haven't you? And she didn't play the majority of last season with her injury and stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, I would think that would sound a bit more true if we was bringing in a young centre back to replace her, but we're not. Like Khadijah Buchanan's very experienced. Like we haven't put a kid in. Yeah. Carter was good last season. She tailed off towards the end of the season as well, though, to be fair. I don't think we've looked the same at the back since Eriksson went. I think that's the big miss. I just think I just think at the minute the team's a little bit too open all over the pitch. I think is the big problem.
I think Point Pastor's just finding a rhythm. We'll get there.
Basically, I've overreacted, listeners. That's what.
Yeah, you have. You have.
Right, we're in the heart of the international break. So while the Premier League actions hit pause, we figured out it's a perfect moment to just reflect on the opening months of the season and share what our own personal takeaways are so far. So we don't have to lock it down to Chelsea either, mainly because I didn't. So and you might go in the title, you put Chelsea, yeah, because the algorithm. If I put Premier League, no one's going to listen to a Premier League podcast, are they? If it's about Chelsea,
True.
But you get the idea. So I've got a takeaway from the season so far. I'll lead with my first one. I've only got two. So my takeaway from the first few months is that we actually have one of the best attacks in the Premier League. We've got Palmer, got Sancho, Jackson, and Madueke. Combined, they've contributed to 21 goals. 21 goal contributions in 7 games. I mean, for me, I found that ridiculous because remember, we had claims that we were just a striker away from having a top team. We needed Osimhen. It would complete us. What we actually were away from being a top attacking team, I think, was the wavelength. I'm starting to believe that those 4 together will be the reason we finish top 4. Because only City have scored more goals in the league so far with their 17 compared to our 16. Yeah. I could give you 115 reasons why it doesn't matter. And one of those teams is expected to score easily. The other, less so. I actually think it's just the fact that they've actually, when I say wavelength, they've all played together. They've known each other for a year now. They didn't a year.
They know each other a bit better.
Exactly. They kind of like, it's not so much upheaval. So many new faces through the door and that sort of thing.
The vibe's good as well, isn't it? Like I think that's helping important too. Like that's helping them gel together. A lot of them are really young lads. Like I was watching the they were doing I think it was Chelsea TV. Were doing an interview with Noni Madueke and Levy Cole, and they were having a sort of a chat about the squad and this and that. And Noni was saying that how I think they both said it actually, how they because they're all young guys, there's a lot of kind of like they're all kind of like spend a lot of their time dicking around with each other and stuff, but that builds bonds, like it builds character. Like eventually those players are going to go out and die for each other on the pitch like that because of those relationships. That's really important.
Yeah, it's just nice to be positive about our attacking side of the team, really.
It reminds me a little bit at the minute with Palmer, Jackson, and Madueke, especially because Sancho's still quite new. Even though he's been really good, like the other 3, I think have got a better natural connection at the minute because they've played together longer. It reminds me a bit of when we had Hazard, Giroud, and Willian. Like those 3 used to just link up. Like you could even take Giroud out and put Batshuayi in. Like, do you remember that goal at Brighton?
Oh,
yeah, I do.
The Willian goal at Brighton where they did all the little flicks in the triangle between them. I wouldn't be shocked to see us score that sort of goal now. Like they just know where each other's going to be. Like they don't have to force it so much anymore. They don't have to be so aware. They can just play a little bit more off instinct. I think that's the biggest thing that's helped our attack. Like those connections are just there now that players know where the other player's going to be, what sort of ball the other player wants as well to receive, what sort of space they're going to be in, how they can help make their finish easier. Like the Palmer goal against Wolves, like that flick from Jackson, there's no way he knew Palmer was there by looking. He just assumed that's where Palmer would be
it was
in
a
those
feeling.
spaces.
Yeah, 100%.
Like our attack is really good, and then when you've got players to come off the bench as well, like Neto and Kunku and Felix, like I mean that's not bad players coming off the bench.
It's very good strength and depth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Chris, what's a takeaway you've got?
Mine is, I actually think this squad is probably more consistent than we think it is.
Oh,
do tell. Elaborate on that.
Well, when you look back from sort of Christmas last year, our results with this squad, I know we've got different managers, but they've sort of carried it on into this season. Our results have been quite consistent. Performances haven't always been. But I think the results have been quite consistent. We don't lose many games now. We are difficult to beat. We don't, like even in the poor draws this season against Palace and Forest, we probably would have lost them last season, early in the season. This stage last season, we probably would have lost those games. So, same with the Brighton game that we ended up winning. To go a goal down there, maybe last September, we lose that game. So I think this squad has found some consistency in terms of being difficult to beat. And when you have the individual quality we have, I think that's the main thing that you have to be. You have to be difficult to beat. And then individuals will go and win us the game. Like, your Palmers, your Madueke's, Jacksons. They have the ability to go and win us matches. I just don't think actually we're probably getting enough credit for the start that we've had. When you look at the amount of points that we've got, how close we are to more established teams like Man City, Arsenal, we're not a million miles away from those teams early in the season. Like, to be competing with those teams at this stage with another new manager coming in, I actually think is a testament to this squad more than anything.
I agree there, actually, fully.
Well, who would have thunk it? Like, if you buy all these players and then you actually just let them sit and gel and have some stability and do their thing, they tend to play better.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, you're right. Ollie, take away.
Yeah, so the first one for me is as much as I do agree with you about the attack, for me there is still one gaping hole in it. And that's the big thing for me. And maybe it's because I'm dwelling a little bit on the Forest game because that was the last game before the international break, but I still think we really need listen, I don't think we necessarily need Osherman. I don't know who we would need in terms of a striker, but I think we need a striker who can head the ball. We need a tall striker who can head the ball. It doesn't matter
someone
who it is.
different to Jackson, like an alternative.
Exactly,
profile.
because Nkunku offers something different, but he doesn't win headers, right? He's more of an attacking midfielder, inside forward, elite finisher. Don't get me wrong, total gunman, poacher in the box. And Jackson offers something different in terms of his relentless, pressing, running off the ball, channel running, all of that stuff. He's really good at that, and his link-up play is superb. But we don't have that aerial threat. It's the only thing we don't have in terms of attack. Target man, yeah, like a Giroud. Like, I don't think someone like Mark Yu is really up for that kind of thing. I think your best bet maybe would have been David Datro Fofana before he's disappeared into the ether. David Washington obviously is just a meme at this point. So I think we do need that kind of tall aerial presence just to offer something different. 10, 20 minutes, half an hour left in the game. Bring them on, have them link up the play, get in the box, stick it on their head, see what we can do, because we've got so many good crosses of the ball. It would add such a different dynamic to our game, especially in games against, in a low block or games where we're really struggling. Like, do you know what I'm thinking about specifically as well? Again, to the Forest game, is Felix and Nkunku both had headers late in the game that could have won us the game.
Yeah,
Someone who a properly aerially dominant striker who heads the ball often, who's tall and who knows what he's doing, buries both of them. So
I think the issue is, I think they're like a dead breed now. I think with the way football's gone, you don't
say
really
that, but one did score against us in that game, Chris Wood.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the issue is that someone like Chris, like, when you're looking at like the top end elite level, you don't get many strikers who a club like who would want to win the league at some point would go and sign who of that profile. Like, you don't get a Giroud anymore who was a target man, but was good enough to play for a top team. I don't think there's. I mean, I'd love one. I agree with you, Ollie. I just don't know whether there is any that you could actually go and get. I think is the issue.
That is the frustrating thing. And to be honest, I think it needs something to do with the scouting. Maybe it need one of the scouts to come out with a masterclass like we've seen with some of the other.
I think it was absolutely surreal because I've got some stats. I was curious about what you just said there. Last season, it was joint. There was 3 players: Jared Bowen. I've just lost that player's name. Anyway, Chris Wood was with 5 goals, headed goals.
Yeah,
and the season before that, Harry Kane had 10.
Crikey. So it shows that an aerially dominant striker is a real asset to have. The only issue, I suppose, with it is that if you add in a third striker, Like it almost certainly is going to push one of Nkunku or Jackson out the door, and Jackson's indispensable, right? Like
Yeah.
so, you know, that might be what you have to give up for that. Or if you're not going to have an aerially,
Ollie Watkins was the other one.
yeah, if you're not going to have an aerially dominant striker, you need someone who can win those headers in another part of the pitch. Like this is going to sound really stupid. I'm probably going to get absolutely flamed for this. Even someone like with a similar build to someone like Scott McTominay in midfield, tall, aerially dominant, wins headers. It's really important, not just in those midfield battles, but you know, like set pieces and things like
anyone
that as well.
mocking you for that hasn't clearly watched him at Napoli because he's bloody good.
Do you know what though? I think I think you are absolutely right, Ollie, because if you look at what Villa are doing, for example, Emery's building a team there which is almost old school Premier League. You know, they signed Onana for midfield, tall, physical presence in the centre of the park. You look at their centre halves, they're tall, physically imposing centre halves. They've got Ollie Watkins who can run in behind with the channels, but then they've also got Duran who can do that, but is more of a box presence. Like there is a team in the league that are doing that, and it is working.
Oh yeah,
so I think you are right. Like,
you're right.
I do think we need to come away in our recruitment from these smaller, more technically gifted players. I do think you need a balance in a squad.
We've got about 5 of them.
Yeah.
We don't have a striker who can head the ball.
I mean, outside of Premier League exclusively games, look at they've signed Ian Maatson. They expected so much. He's been a sub. He's barely. I think he's only played full half against Wolves. But other than that, it was like 20 minutes here, 16, and you just think, oh, okay.
It's hard to be fair when you're like 4'6".
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Bless him. Oh, right. So there's one take. You know what? I'm going to go with mine. And this is non-Chelsea. It's my final one. I've got the Saudi Pro League is already on the decline. Now, remember, I've got a reason. The summer of 2023, Saudi Pro League clubs were signing the huge name players, huge money contracts. The entire football landscape was changing, we were told. Saudi Pro League would become bigger, better, more desirable than the Premier League. But someone on a little known podcast called At the Bridge Pod said, stop, wait a minute, fill my cup, put some thought into it, and stated that the league would go the same way the Chinese Super League would.
Yeah.
Huge originally, splash a load of money, big names would join, then it would slowly burn out like a Catherine wheel at a fireworks display. I want to go through all the big names for the big money that occurred in the last summer. So we've got Ivan Toney, João Cancelo, Marcus Leonardo. He went for a lot of money from Benfica. Moussa Diaby, Steve Bergwijn, and Aubameyang. Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, most of those are on the decline.
You know what killed the Saudi Pro League and killed the Chinese Super League? It wasn't lack of ambition. It wasn't lack of good players over there, because I mean, I'd say the Saudi Pro League's probably done more marketable signings than the Chinese Super League did at the time. It's the time difference.
That is a point.
You can't get away from where you are, and no one's going to stay up till 2:00 in the morning to watch Al Nassr play.
Yeah,
no,
it's just not going to happen.
None of those
Ronaldo banging his 900 goal or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, none of those players would start in a top 6 side. Tony, perhaps. I mean, you could say
maybe Tony.
De Bruyne might go. He might, but again, he would be a player on, for me, the decline of his career. I don't think we are going to see another Gabby Vega style signing for that league.
You might see a handful, because I
just don't see it.
I think they're not going to be able to do it in big enough numbers to be able to actually attract like proper viewing numbers over there. I think the problem is that for me the problem is with the Saudi league, and the same thing was the Chinese league, is you can't buy pedigree. You can spend all the money you want, but at the end of the day, people come back to La Liga and Serie A and the Premier League because you can't do this stuff quickly. You have to build this kind of thing over time.
I'd also argue, we're based in the UK, so UK, I would say, where'd you watch it? Because I bet without Googling, you wouldn't be able to tell me instantly. Yeah, if I said La Liga, you'd be able to name the team. You'd be able to name the channel. The Premier League.
It's beIN Sports, isn't it, over there?
I don't know. I genuinely haven't Googled it.
beIN Sports,
I don't know.
I think the beIN Sports, they technically own what is now BT Sport, I think.
I've Googled it. You're wrong. It's DAZN.
Oh, it's DAZN. Okay.
I didn't even know that.
Might have been beIN. Yeah, fair enough.
I think it's the same thing, though, that holds back like the MLS. because if you watch the MLS, it's
I love
actually
it.
really,
so
really
fun.
entertaining.
Yeah.
It's actually a really entertaining league to watch, and there are some good players over there. But again, am I going to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch Philadelphia Union play? Probably not.
That's the thing.
And the thing is as well is they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't put games on like that at different times for international audiences, because then you take away from building the original, like the grassroots support of the sport in your own country, and then you're doing it to fail before it even begins. So that's what I mean by you can't buy pedigree. You just have to do this stuff slowly.
Everyone knows, Seattle Sounders fan. We play on this coming Sunday against Portland Timbers, big derby, and it's at 2 a.m. I'm not. Look, I love Seattle. I can't stay up till 2 a.m. to watch that. I just can't do it. That's the thing. It's such a shame, but
people have lives, you know.
Well, I don't know if I do. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. That's
we have this podcast, and that's
we do. That's it. That's what it's about.
That's why these leagues will only grow within their own country or on their own continent, because of the time differences kill it. Like in Europe, really, if you're outside of Europe, no one in Europe's going to watch it, because we don't want to be watching stuff at stupid o'clock in the morning.
I mean, like you can even go as far as like even like before everything happened, all political and stuff. But like the Russian league, like nobody ever really watched that either, because it was too far away.
Yeah. Right. We've got one. Well, you two have got one each. So, Ollie, final takeaway.
Yeah. So my second takeaway, and it's another Chelsea takeaway, because I was thinking about Chelsea a lot over the weekend. It's what happens in the international break. You know, you start to get the Stockholm syndrome. You're like, I miss them. And that's with the way that we've been performing this season, I'm really encouraged by the idea that we're not finished. Like, and I mean that in several ways. Is that obviously there's still a long way in the season to go. So we've got a lot of winning and losing and drawing to go this season before, we can really make a judgment on how this team is. But we're really enjoying it for right now. And, it continues to keep getting better and better and better at the moment. And so I'm really encouraged by the idea that we're not finished in that regard. Like we've got a lot of development of this squad to do. But I'm also really encouraged when I think we're not finished yet in terms of our recruitment either. In terms of like players, yeah, sure, some players who need to come in, like I spoke about with the striker, but also we've got some world-class young talent who are going to be joining us soon. You've got Esteval Willian, who is, just seems to be absolutely ridiculous every time I ever see him play. Like, obviously you've got to put your hands up and say, young kid, all of the caveats, all of that, but he looks mental. You've got Kendry Pires, same thing with him. Got Andre Santos, who's killing it at Strasbourg, in the top league. He's doing really well. He's going to come back. Got Leslie Ugochukwu, who's being the standout for Southampton this season so
Key
far.
player for Southampton, according to Sky Sports.
Exactly. We've got a lot of players still yet to come in. So, like, I'm really encouraged by that idea that we're not finished, but we're already making the groundwork now for when those players are going to come in soon. And with any luck, if any of them hit the ground running properly, we're going to go up another level, and that'll be insane.
Oh yeah, true. Right, yeah. Chris, get
mine's a more general one, and this could be me living in hope. More than anything, but I think we might be starting to see the end of the possession obsessed Pep Guardiola era. I think I've seen more entertaining games already this season than in the entirety of last season. Most of last season, you watched the games that was televised on the weekend and thought, fucking hell, they was all shit. And I remember having a conversation with my dad. It must have been about last sort of March, and going, can you remember the last game you watched that was actually good?
That's such a Chris household conversation.
Like a game that game as a neutral. I mean, as well, not one that Chelsea was involved in, but as a neutral that you watched and thought, wow, that was actually a really good game. There wasn't many.
The last game I can remember like that was that good was the it was probably both of Man United's games in the FA Cup.
Yeah, the
Again, like,
Coventry
again,
semi-final.
Coventry game semi,
Yeah.
and then Man United in the final. Sorry, Liverpool
Yeah.
in the final. Like that. Oh, sorry, was it Carabao? I can't remember. But it was yeah. Those are the last two like truly entertaining games I can remember watching.
Whereas I think this season already, I think you have seen glimpses that more teams are coming away from just wanting to dominate possession now. Like we had our game against Wolves. You had the Brentford game that had loads of goals in it. There was a Villa game earlier in the season that was really good as well.
Our game versus Brighton.
Yeah, our game against Brighton. I really hope that we're starting, because football goes in cycles, don't it? And we've had this sort of tick-attacker, possession-obsessed football now for what feels like an eternity, to be honest.
About a decade, surely. Like ever since Spain won the World Cup in
at least a decade.
2014.
Yeah. So I hope that we're starting to come away from that and we're going to go back to ultimately what football was meant to be about, and it's entertainment.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I was thinking last season it's really bad. I'm not sorry. My mind went straight to the last game I watched that was entertaining, and my mind went, "Oh yeah, Bengals Ravens every weekend." That's not the football we're on about. It'd be Luton Arsenal actually.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just want to
Christmas say, time.
Sorry, it was Germany who won the 2014 World Cup. I just wanted to.
What did you say?
I said Spain. Before I get absolutely roasted to high heaven for that.
Oh yeah, Mario Götze scoring for Spain. We all remember it. Right, we will move to Quaresma's questions, and remember, mailbag special on Friday. So send in your questions.
Get in your questions, right? If you're listening now,
you got your chance.
Yeah, like we're letting you know early, so do it.
We've got a lot on the list. I've already got some. Right, anyway, Andy Frost, he's asked, is Cole Palmer starting to pull the other attackers up a level like Hazard did? Or am I just imagining it?
That's a really good question.
It's a good question.
The question is how good is he? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean,
is he good enough to do that? Maybe he is.
Iron sharpens iron. I always believe that. I did give some thought to the question because I thought I don't think it's as simple as Cole Palmer's pulling up the level. I feel it's. I referred to it earlier as well. I feel it's a combination of Palmer, a consistent starting 11, and a team that actually have known each other for a year. I think it's all together that we're seeing this growth. I don't think it's one particular thing. It's just a combo.
I think as well, I think you have to take into account that these are young players who are another year older.
Of course.
So they're developing naturally anyway.
Yeah.
I do think Palmer helps though. I think having that X Factor player in your team can make other players look good.
I was going to say that, like, there's a few things that Palmer probably does that adds a few sort of notches on the belt to make it go up a level a little bit. And one of them is like the confidence in having a teammate that good makes you perform better. And then the other thing, of course, is that if everyone's marking him, fewer people are marking you. So, you know, like
that is true. That is true. Right.
So maybe, there's definitely maybe.
We'll close out with Vic Ferreira and whoa, hold up.
What's more likely?
Never say never, but never.
Because he has dropped in a what's more likely. Do you guys think it's more likely to finish top 4 or win one of the cup competitions? I'd say
top
a cup.
4.
Really? I'd say a cup competition based on how favourable the draw is. You get City, you're gone. You're out.
Well, it depends. In that question, do you think he's including the Conference League?
If he is, then I would.
If he is, then cup competition. But if we exclude that and we just talk domestic, I think we're more likely to finish top 4 than win the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, because at some point you are going to have to beat either Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man City to win those cups.
Almost certainly. Or maybe Villa or someone like that, or a Man United, like a team that will rise to the big occasion. But there's one thing about this that's maybe interesting is we've got to remember we don't play the same 11 in different competitions. Like our Premier League 11 and our other competitions 11 are not hugely different in quality, but the Premier League 11 is clearly stronger. So yes, it's a stronger competition, but actually I think they're better to such an extent that I think top 4 is more likely.
Looking at the top 4, we're fourth, obviously, at the moment. Arsenal, City, and Liverpool above us. Okay. And then below us, you've got Villa, Brighton, Newcastle. I don't think Spurs or United are going to be in there. United are 14th.
That's the thing. I think we're more likely to finish top four as well, because I don't think there's that many teams who have started the season really well. Like, there's not
We're
that
competing
many,
with Villa, really.
Yeah, but even Villa look a little bit up and down, not completely sure what you're going to get with them. They've had like 2 games this season, I think, where they went 2-0 down and came back to win. You're not going to carry that on all season. That's not going to happen.
Newcastle have been a bit.
Yeah, Newcastle look dead. Like, there's so much going on with them. Like, that they don't look like they're going to be consistent enough. Tottenham the same. Man United are, a meme at this point. Like,
maybe after that, who you're going to say? Maybe Brighton. Outside shot. Maybe someone like Fulham. They've taken a few scouts.
I'm still laughing at the fact I said Man United will finish top 4 in the predictions. I don't.
Did you really say that?
It's never happened.
Yeah, to be fair,
were you smoking crack before that?
Probably.
What?
I think I might have done as well. To be fair.
What is wrong with you both? They're a circus.
Not a sponsor. We're not sponsored by. Right, yeah. Right. The end of show game. Yeah, I've renamed it again. Mailbag Special Friday. Drop your questions in. But to wrap up today's show, we got the brand new end of show game. Guess the player by their career path. Chris, you had a perfect show on last Monday. 3 of 3. No one could get near you.
Yes,
you were on your own. You were on your own. But
I'm worried.
Don't say that.
I'm worried now because Chris has had some practice, but also like I feel the pressure to come in and perform because he did so well.
So we're using, well, because Ollie doesn't know the game yet. I'll describe a player's career path, and your job's to figure out who it is. We're using everyone's favorite reliable source, Wikipedia. Again, it's not a sponsor. I don't know if there's any other dictionaries out there. I don't know.
Encyclopedia
Britannica.
I just want to clarify something before we start, because I was by myself last time, so I didn't have any competition. Yeah. So can we jump in at any point and say we know who it is, or do we have to wait for you to say all the clubs?
No. First person to guess correctly takes the win.
So I could jump in after you say one club if I was confident.
Yes.
Okay.
If you
I'm not going to do
wrong,
that because I would never be wrong.
If you guess wrong, you're frozen out until everyone else had a go. So Ollie could just literally wait till the bloody end.
Okay, so like you got to hedge your bets. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Three players. First player. Started Real Sociedad B before moving to Real Sociedad. They went on loan to Eibar before moving from Sociedad to Liverpool. They moved from Liverpool to Real Madrid.
Is it?
Oh, straight in Chris's.
Going to take a guess here.
Yeah.
Is it Xabi Alonso?
It is indeed, because he then moves to Bayern Munich where he retires.
Yeah. I was right behind you. I wasn't 100% sure though.
I cannot wait for this one because I thought this was a great player. And now I've just seen the first team name. He started his career at
Oh, what a team. What a team. Great academy there. Great academy.
Are we allowed to know like where that team's from?
No, that would give it away. I'm going to actually Google. Oh, Sarajevo. Oh, I should have.
What, you've never heard of him, Ollie? Come on.
Yeah, we're playing him in the Conference League in a couple of weeks.
Get some ball knowledge, mate.
I'm literally going to use this and then just dub it over everything I say because I'm going to print. Here we are. There you go. That's who he played for.
What?
Yeah. So
that doesn't even sound like she's saying a word, by the way.
I know. then he moves to Tbilisi. Before,
It doesn't get any easier, does it?
No. Before moving on loan to Ustinad Labem, before then moving from Tbilisi to Wolfsburg. I can say that. Yeah. Mike's it's my nightmare. This is. Oh, why did I pick this player? And then he moved from Wolfsburg to Manchester City.
Is it Kevin De Bruyne?
Oh no, it's not. It's not. He moves from Man City to Roma on loan.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm not sure.
Before moving to Roma, Ollie, permanently.
City to Roma. Is it Edin Dzeko?
It is Edin Dzeko.
Oh,
of course,
great
he's
shout.
Bosnian. Is he Bosnian? He is Bosnian, isn't he? That's the Sarajevo.
He is,
team.
yeah. He is Bosnian, yeah.
Right, so everyone's going to be like, "What?" Mike's voice changes to an AI, yeah, because I could not pronounce that name. I'm so bad. Everyone knows it. Anyway,
Number.
Neither could the AI apparently.
Final player started his career at Vita. Yeah, let's go with that. Before moving on loan to Inter Milan, before moving permanently to Inter Milan, they then went on loan to Treviso and Pisa on loan. Before moving to Genoa. They moved from Genoa to Bari. From Bari to Juventus. Juventus to AC Milan. AC Milan, he moved to Juventus again. Before moving to Union Berlin.
Oh, I know it, I think.
Oh.
Is it Bonucci?
It is indeed, because he finished his career at Fenerbahce.
Yeah, I remember him moving to Union Berlin and thinking that was a really weird move at the time.
You think, considering I pick the players, I'd pick players where the clubs I could pronounce. I don't help myself. I don't help myself. What a great. Everyone just enjoys that. Oh,
it's a good game. I like this game.
Oh,
yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
It's pretty fun. Hey, thank you for listening to this episode, listener. Treat yourself well. We will be back on Friday for the Friday show. Maybe we play it on this Thursday. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Ask your questions.
We'll be back. That's what's going to happen. And so till then, when we turn up again in your feed, that is us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.